Good morning, Carlos. How are you?
Buen día. Quiero decir felicidades a los ticos de Costa Rica porque ganaron sobre New Zealand All Whites ayer y entonces Costa Rica van a la Copa Mundial en Qatar. Costa Rica won yesterday, so we just came back from there. We were rooting for the Ticos, so there you go. Sports.
Sports.
It's great for the world.
Sports. That's the only thing that's important is sports.
It's kind of the happiest news. Well, speaking of sports, you've got, because Joe Biden, in his criticism of Saudi Arabia, right, is coming up, right? But you have the Live Golf Tournament, which is sponsored by Saudi money.
Right.
And you have a lot of pro golfers going, hey, what are those guys doing on that tour?
Yeah,
the
Phil
Saudis are really corrupt. And the other guy's going, I'm getting old, I need money. And the U.S. Open is coming up. And it all intertwines together with our attitudes towards, politically speaking, Saudi Arabia.
Look at you bringing things around like that.
Oh, yeah.
News.
Look at you. You're so good
Sports
at that.
indeed.
Sports.
Talking cartoons off the air.
Yes, we were.
We
Talking
were.
about sports. Oh, I remember Yogi Bear and Popeye.
The Popeye show,
calm down.
that's the one that had Super Chicken and George of the Jungle and Tom Slick.
See, we're the LA natives here.
Yeah.
You know.
I know all the terrible cartoons that no one recognizes when I bring them up.
See
we
what I'm
grew
trying
up
to do
here.
by speaking Spanish, too.
I know, and
I
I
tried to speak
understood
Spanish.
everything you said. What Carlos said in Spanish, I totally
trying.
agree with you. You could have said anything, and I wouldn't have known.
Yeah, we got to get those Latino voters were swinging right there in Nevada yesterday.
They
They
were.
were.
So
Yep.
we got
They swung a seat from Democrat to Republican.
They did. And that's partly because Spanish language radio is super conservative right now and pushing.
Would it be religion?
Could be.
Could be.
It could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's Catholic, is she? Do we know?
I mean, if she, yeah.
Probably,
Yeah.
yeah. That is rare for a woman and a Latino woman, to be that. It's just, she did win. She,
Talk about grooming.
Yep.
No kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Catholics are good at that.
So Carlos, you have the children.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the Ohio governor signing into law teachers being armed?
I think it's ludicrous. I think it's insane, and I am dreading, and eventually it will happen, where a teacher's going to shoot an innocent child.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's just going to happen. It's physics. It's statistics. It's inevitable. It is dumb. I feel very bad about it. I feel very scared about it. I don't think it could happen here in California.
I hope not.
But one never knows. But I just think sense of dangerous precedents when armed, trained people whose lives are dedicated to just that, police officers, National Guards people, bullets go stray.
Yeah.
You don't hit the intended target like a movie, no matter how much you train. I think somebody in Uvalde said that. The teacher said, I don't care if you give us guns. Nothing's going to prepare you for that moment.
Exactly. You've said it a bunch of times. You don't get the memo 10 minutes before they show up. Hi, I'm coming to shoot up the place. You don't
Yeah.
get the element of surprise is what works.
You better give the teachers body armor because how many police officers were there?
19,
40?
yeah.
In Uvalde or whatever?
Yeah.
And I'm not going in against that guy with freaking body armor and 223 Remington rounds that are going to pierce through my body and 17 others.
Right.
So what's a teacher with a little pop, pop, pop going to do?
Exactly.
Miss and hit a child.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what's going to happen.
I think
Dumb.
also two other things that I think, because Republicans like to poke holes in our stuff all the time. So one thing is, like you said, if we arm teachers, that means the gunman's going to come into the classroom
And
and they're
shoot
going to
the
know
teacher.
what their first target is
Exactly.
the teacher. Second of all, how is that gun being stored in the classroom? Because if a gun is going to be useful, it needs to be easily accessible.
Right.
If it's easily accessible, that means the students in the classroom
Yep.
have access to that gun as well. And that is opening a whole can of worms because you could have an angry student one day. Just
Yeah, even
grab
the
a gun.
worst
I mean,
case scenario
these are
where
the
you have open
stupidest
carry
ideas.
and the safety's on.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the safety's on. Now you got to figure out how to do that, and you're only getting,
Right.
It's a total Barney Fife. All right, Eddie, here he comes with body armor and the AR-15 and the 15,000 rounds. Get baby out here.
Exactly.
It's just not going to work. No, Barn. I wish we had Sheriff Taylor just going, well, Ohio, that's just not a good idea.
We need more Sheriff Taylors, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
And the fact that Mitch McConnell thinks that providing more security to the Supreme Court justices is more pressing than decent gun legislation.
Yeah.
And apparently he doesn't he doesn't care about their staff members.
No.
No.
He said the version of the Supreme Court security bill that apparently the Democrats are going to try to pass on suspension was put on suspension, and it won't pass the Senate because the security issue is related to Supreme Court justices, not nameless staff that no one knows. These are the people going to and from
Right.
people's homes. I mean,
And also, this is the
Nameless staff.
Yeah.
He's more concerned with the safety of the Supreme Court justice than he is with children and teachers in schools.
right. And the fact of the matter is, the guy that was near Justice Kavanaugh's home
Who's threatening?
Yep.
called the police on himself.
Yeah, I was convinced by his sister, I guess.
Yeah, and so he didn't technically try to do anything.
Yeah.
And he was
He thought
suicidal.
about. He was considering
He was
it.
considering it, but that's
You know
thought
what?
police then. He was
As I
considering
tweeted earlier,
Yeah.
Jody, he was on. It was just a friendly tourist visit, just like the
Right.
Capitol.
exactly just like the Capitol.
He was. There were open houses in the neighborhood.
right at night.
Yeah.
And his security saw the guy too. So I mean,
Right.
he already has
He
security.
had security too.
So it's
political.
it is. It's ridiculous. I mean,
Didn't
yes,
John Cornyn, wasn't it John Cornyn? Not, oh gosh, no, that's the wrong name. One of our representatives get spit on in the halls of Congress. Like physically
I thought John
spit
Lewis
on.
got spit on.
That was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
and-
I
but-
do. It was. I do remember when the protesters were in there. I think it was around the Brett Kavanaugh hearings, actually.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
For
yeah.
it was the people who were the anti-abortion because we knew that this was going to happen.
Yes, we did.
But also one of our black representatives was spit on too by the protesters as well. So and it's politically expedient for McConnell to do this. It looks good. But yeah, our answer to if saying we have a series of arson fires in forests are being lit on fire, our answer is to fireproof the forest instead
Right.
of taking away the matches and all the fuel that cause forest fires, right?
Exactly. I mean, it's yes, Supreme Court justices should have security. I have no problems as a taxpayer
And they do have
making sure that
security.
they're safe
Well,
to move about the country. I'm fine with that.
as
But
many people said, arm Supreme Court justices then.
Yeah.
One doorway in and out of Kavanaugh's house, right? A lot of people have tweeted that.
100%.
So the same rules you apply to schools apply to the Supreme Court justices.
If it's good for them,
Or
it's
have
good for-
kids in school have all the security that Supreme Court justices have. How about that?
well, I mean,
travel with
even
a-
if they do, apparently they don't go running in because 19 cops waited an hour. It was Border
And our
Patrol that went
schools-
in.
Our public schools, because they want people to go to charter schools too. Our public
Right.
schools shouldn't look like prisons.
No, they shouldn't.
It's just not any way to positively educate kids. You know,
Adam Kinzinger actually came out really strongly and spoke about that. And he said, I don't want my kid going to school someplace that looks like a military
Yeah.
camp or
Correct.
or a
Razor
prison.
wire
This is not
everywhere.
what this is not the America that I want for my kids. Which fair, and also he voted.
He voted for the
all
House bill.
the House
Right.
bills, which were much more stringent.
Yeah, the House bill is excellent. I mean, and the bill that is being written right now in the Senate isn't enough, but at least it's a start. And
I will take it.
these small measures
Right.
will help.
Yeah.
So it's not upgrading. It's not changing the age from 18 to 21. Rather, the background checks within that age range.
Right.
Right.
It's
And
just so, boy, the winds of change are just whew,
yeah, I mean, and
so slow.
It's more of a breeze.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I remember that as soon as Roe became law, it took them 50 years to get it
Yeah.
overturned. And most likely it will be by the end of this month or the beginning of next month. And so that's the long game. So with gun safety, this is a long game for people that want people to be safe. I mean, unfortunately, it's a long game. And it's not going to be as fast as any of us like. The House bill is great. Hang it on all the Republicans that didn't vote for it for your re-election campaigns, kids, you know. Because they don't care. They're the
Right.
pro-death party, not the pro-life party, and we need to hang that on them because they do not care. And what I like about the gun legislation, even in the Senate, is David Hogg, who I think will be a hell of a politician
Yeah, he
one
will.
of these days. He's like, let's get what we can. He's
Yeah,
being more
yeah.
pragmatic.
And
you know?
that's the way I am.
Yeah.
Wow, pragmatic. That's the kiss of death, right? Between the extremes on
It really
all
is.
sides. Like,
It really is. But pragmatism gets things done.
It does. It does, and that's unfortunate. We don't have that right now in the Senate, especially in the Senate. And it is sad. I blame Newt Gingrich for the how things are now in politics because he started because before him becoming the speaker, there was work being done. Republicans worked with Democrats. There was bipartisanship.
Yeah, but there's also that pull from the left. There's a great article in the Atlantic that I've posted on Twitter, I think, and my brother gave me about how the progressive policies in San Francisco failed. Crime is running amok, homeless people all over, needles, and Boudin, I think, is the guy they ousted, right?
Yeah.
Chesa Boudin.
Yeah.
Yeah, Boudin. It's like we have to admit, you got to move a little bit more to the center. It doesn't mean you lose your progressive sticker. You have to do things that are practical, pragmatic, that work for everybody. And when progressive measures do fail in terms of crime, in terms of homelessness, you have to look towards a little bit more towards the center to make things work. That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
And it's, you can't have Walgreens that are shut down because there's mass robberies. Now a senior citizen who could walk to get his medicine, I can't go to that Walgreens anymore because people are just robbing it every day and it's too dangerous. And they had to shut it down.
Right.
Those policies weren't working.
Yeah, and it's, he had the right ideas, but he had the right, not ideas, but he had the right heart in it, I guess.
Yeah.
His heart was in the right place, but the policies don't work at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't want to jail anybody for shoplifting, which they considered a very, very minor crime. But if you keep shoplifting over and over and over
then
again,
it is a major crime. Then
stores aren't going to want to open in your city, and that's what was happening with Walgreens. They were closing stores in San Francisco because the cost of doing business there
was getting too expensive.
Exactly.
I mean,
There's
a lot
a guy
of
in the street
go on.
that was naked, like and dying and needed help, and some progressive goes, "No, paramedics, hold on. Hey, you don't need to accept help from the paramedics." The guy refused help from the paramedics, and he died.
Yeah.
Wow, that's just
It just gets too much. We just need to come a little bit towards the center with good, pragmatic, progressive ideas.
Yes.
They can still be that.
Yeah, you can, and I mean, I know how much you love Jimmy Dore.
Well, hey, there was an email that says they're really pulling for him to run for president. And you know what?
Do it.
If he does it, go for it. But here's the deal. Stop after the primaries when you get smoked. Stop the nonsense. Give it a shot. Go as far left as you want during the primaries. But when you have a chance to stop evil, you choose something that you may not like. That's reality. And you have to realize your choices have consequences.
Right. Exactly.
They do.
They do.
That's all. That's what pragmatism is. Pragmatism is like, Jimmy Dore, go for it in the primaries.
Yeah.
If you win, fantastic.
Right.
You're the nominee.
If you
don't,
lose, then
get
that's-
out of the way.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And on that note, because I know how much he loves Jimmy Dore, it is 19 minutes after the hour. This